You are listening to the Pacers Report with Mike Rich, John Robertson, and Will Retherford, only on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Welcome back, Pacers fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for this week's Pacers Report with Mike Rich. Mike Rich, of course, is our Pacers guy. We're also joined by our NBA and Fever guy, John Robertson, and Will Retherford of the Strictly Biased podcast to talk about the Indiana Pacers. And this podcast was formed in large part to talk about the Pacers, and we haven't much so far because they've been out west. They've been on Friday night when football is being played, and we just haven't had a lot of time to react to them and talk about them. And since we last talked, all they have done is lose. They are now 1-10 and tied for the worst record in the NBA with the Nets and the Wizards. With the health situation, it doesn't look like it's going to improve soon, but if they do bring people back, it's not like the top 10 teams are running away. There's no question that they can make a run at the final playoff spot if they got people back pretty quickly, were healthy, and playing as hard as they could to make the playoffs. So they have a choice to make here, and that is, do they continue to make a push? Do they start to, I don't want to use the word tank because players will never tank. You should never ask a player to tank. But can the organization make some trades and get some guys out who are contributing to winning? Because it is a special draft in 2026 that should yield at least a couple of franchise players and up to 10 very serious contributors, including Darren Peterson of Kansas, who could be extra special. Mike, what should the Pacers' strategy be going forward?
It should not be tank. This season is a long season. We started out pretty rough last year and didn't have as many injuries. I'm a realist. I think it's going to be really difficult to even get into a play-in spot with this start, but I think they should continue to do everything they can to win every game, evaluate their talent. I think they should look at who they should be trading and look for the future. I'm a huge Benedict Mathurin and Obi Toppin fan, but those two pieces would be pieces that would probably be serviceable to somebody else right now that is playing for a championship game, and we might be able to get a decent haul for a couple of those players. But I don't want to see them tank. But if they play and they play hard and they get beat, I'm not too sad about that either. If they're putting out the effort and they're, I don't feel super bad if they just happen to lose the game. It was good to see McConnell back last night. The difficulty with that was he just didn't have his legs, but still didn't do too bad for his first game back. And I think there'll be improvement there. And I think, if we get a couple of these players that are out back, I think, we're going to be all right. And it's a tough road trip too. Realistic, if they can get into the play-in spot, the playoffs is all they need to do. The team's good enough. If they can get in the playoffs and they're healthy, they can do all right.
TJ McConnell came back last night. Andrew Nembhard has recently returned. It seems like Benedict Mathurin is near a return. At 1-10, do you start pumping the brakes and thinking maybe we slow people down coming back and we start to look in that direction? Or if you're the Pacers, are you still playing it straight and going for it?
I think it's still too early to start pumping them. It's a real bad start, but look at all the stuff they had to overcome with all the injuries. It's not like the team just isn't playing well overall. It's just they're dealing with a ton of injuries. Again, so my overall point, it's too early to really stop playing. I just don't want to see them break up the team because I think they have the chemistry to do well once they get everybody back. So I would hate to see them make such an early decision and start just blowing it up already because that just seems ridiculous to me.
Well, it seems like Benedict Mathurin is going to be a casualty either way. And if you're trying to kind of wiggle things around with salary and you want to lose, it's just an option that Kevin Pritchard has at his disposal.
Well, he's not on the list of jerseys I'm going to buy this year. I'll tell you that much. I'm not considering a Matherin just because I'm not wasting money on it. Like,
it sure seems that way, especially with the things Kevin Pritchard has said as far as he doesn't quite fit in the way the rest of the team does. And of course, that doesn't mean he's not a very good player. He is a very, very good player. I think if you need a go-to scorer, he's the kind of player that will fit with a lot of teams. We haven't talked much yet about college basketball on the Central Indiana Sports Report, except for Purdue and IU. But this is a special draft class, it looks like. Darren Peterson of Kansas, Cameron Boozer, of course, the son of Carlos Boozer, and A.J. DeBonsa, who is at BYU, all seem like they are potential franchise-type players. And the Pacers, man, you add that into the mix of what they already have, and you're talking about potentially special if you just kind of pump the brakes a little, Will.
The top end of the draft looks like it's got the chance to be really good. NBA players, we'll see. It's still a long season. There's a lot that could go on. I really like the pedigree of somebody like a Cameron Boozer. I don't think that the Pacers are probably going to be picking low enough to get him realistically. As for Matherin, I think he's going to be gone. I would really be hesitant to trade Obi Toppin because I'm not sure that you're going to be able to bring somebody in for an Obi Toppin that's going to replicate what he is able to produce from that 4 hybrid 5 spot. But
I'm saying if you want to lose this season, your goal suddenly is to lose, but you don't want the players to play any less hard. You don't want them to not gain experience by not playing hard. You would never ask players to do it. One way to do it without asking players to do it is start trading off good players with large salaries. That's my point.
I think that's a huge mistake. I think that all you're asking is the same NBA shuffle where it's like, if we don't think we can do it this year, then let's just sell the damn farm and hopefully we can recover. And this team still has a window. I think Matherin's the odd man out. If Obi Toppin is open to a extension on a relatively team-friendly deal, because let's be honest, he's a bench player at the NBA level probably. He's a really high level 6 or 7 off your bench, but he's not a starter on any competitive team. And I think that has to be taken into account when you are looking for pieces to bring back from them. The Pacers at this point control their destiny with their own draft pick. To me, the bigger deal would be to just not rush anybody back from injury. You're not playing unless you're 100%. No, 90%, 95%. You're not playing unless you are 100% physically able to play.
Well, that's one way to do it as well. And I think you guys know from the preseason, I think this team can still make the playoffs if they get healthy. I think adding Matherin back alone, they're going to start beating the bad teams at the very least. And I wouldn't be bringing this up if we weren't seeing guys in this year's draft being compared to Kobe Bryant and Karl Malone and all-time special type players. That's the only reason I'm really bringing it up this early in the season.
I'd rather do something with a trade. If we could trade a couple pieces, I don't want to see us picking in the top 3 of the draft in 2026. And it's still a chance. I think the biggest need is, I hate to say it, are we missing Miles Turner? And
no,
I hate to say it,
but room, Mike Rich.
We're not doing any better at the center spot.
We're not missing his 4.5 rebounds.
We're not any worse at the center spot. It's really the injuries. Like anybody.
I agree. We're not injured at center.
Well, I know, but like when everybody else that's really good is out, like they can lock in on the center position. They don't have to worry about guarding anybody else. I'm just saying, like a lot of the people that they're panicking. I'm not saying you're.
I've seen some things I've liked out of Isaiah Jackson for sure, but he's never going to be your best player. And right now, there were some lineups that he was the second best player on the floor, and that's not good.
Well, right. Somebody in the coaching staff just needs to work with the centers and tell them what a center's supposed to do. Like, that just seems to be the problem. Like, when's the last time we had a center that played center? We have centers that want to be out shooting threes all the time. Jay Huff's shooting threes.
And he makes them less than Miles Turner did.
I don't want to see him shooting threes. I want to see him playing center.
Yeah.
Generic Miles Turner is what I call Jay Huff.
Yes, he's a very generic Miles Turner. I would agree with that. I think that's the piece that we're missing. We need a strong inside presence. And somebody, you look at the draft and what's Boozer, 6'9". How's he going to go against somebody that's 6 inches taller, 6-7 inches taller than him?
He's going to be one of the best players in the NBA projected in 5 years. You don't care when he's 19 years old.
But this team doesn't have 5 years with the core that it has.
Cameron Boozer doesn't make the 2026, 2027 Pacers any better. No. He maybe makes the 2030 Pacers a lot better. But to me, and I know this is going to sound crazy because I'm sure everybody knows that, this team doesn't need a back to the basket center. When Tyrese Halliburton is back and they're firing on all cylinders, they need a center that can run the floor and shoot the three ball. That's where the strength of this offense was. It was what made Miles Turner better. Where the upgrade's got to be is a better defensive rebounder at the center position. They're not missing the paint presence in terms of right now. They're just not playing the same style of basketball that you saw them play last year. And honestly, I think that wherever that pick lands, it's going to be absolute trade bait to try to bring in the best possible center you can bring in for next year's Indiana Pacers. I don't see them drafting because Pritchard is aware that you're not going to get Nembhard and Nesmith on team-friendly deals again. It's just not going to happen. You're getting to the point where Siakam is probably on the downward slope of the elite level of his career. You're going to have Halliburton back. This team needs somebody that the first-round pick can get them in a trade.
You would think that the Pacers' first-round pick would be very valuable right now, so if you're going to trade it, now might be a good time.
It depends on who you're going to get, too. I think that there's, right now, I think you still want to see where some stuff.
So what do you package with to get that? So you package your first-round draft pick this year.
And Ben Mathurin. Obi Toppin if it's needed.
It's going to take more than Ben in a first, to be completely honest. You're talking about an all-NBA level center. It's going to take more than just that.
A potential franchise player in a draft where they're 1-10. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Right now, their draft
I wouldn't trade Obi Toppin for anything.
It's more valuable than it's going to be at any point in the season.
I think Obi Toppin's developed into the exact player that you hoped that he would. When you got him from New York, you gave up 2 seconds. It was cheap to get him. Like, he's turned into a legitimate kind of 3 and high flyer type guy he doesn't really score a ton at the mid-range level, but he's become a really good shooter. He's super electric, and I think that his flexibility to play really from 3 to 5 makes him so desirable for this team next year, because you're going to be a great bench spot loss in Ben Mathurin. He's a great 6th guy to bring off your bench in terms of a scoring threat. So you're going to have to keep somebody. I would not trade Obi Toppin unless they completely overpaid for him.
So it sounds like we all agree. The Pacers should try to make the playoffs and don't worry about the draft right now. But that could change pretty quickly, right?
Mid-season, maybe. If they can't get people back and can't see if the team that they...
If you're 1-16, you got to start thinking in a different direction.
Yeah. I don't anticipate it being 1-16, but...
It's not out of the possibility.
No.
That's what I'm saying. It's sad. I really thought this was going to be a really good season. It still could be. I'm not saying that it can't be. The odds of it are getting less and less likely.
Going to be a good regular season. There's nothing that's going to make this a good regular season. But if they can just make it into the playoffs, you make it in. and everybody's healthy, I like our chances.
It is
later in the season.
It's way too early to decide stuff. It's so early in the season. Like we're barely into November. It's a long season.
The season started in October.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. Yeah, the season started in October, and we had 7 major injuries, right? So we haven't even really seen the team play.
That team that played the Thunder game 1 can win 4 games.
I know I've said it multiple times, but this is so reminiscent of the Fever season. Honestly, this is exactly what the Fever went through, only like the Fever were able to pull it together because there's just more talent available for hardships. NBA, I don't think the level of talent is there once you drop past a certain level.
What, you don't love Monty Morris?
No.
That's the kind of player you get in the NBA when you have hardships.
Like when you have 30 teams and 14 or 15 players per team, like you just the shallow pool of people that are left available. When you have 11 teams and 12 people per team, there's definitely more talent out there to pick from.
I want to make it super clear to Pacers fans and to the 3 of you that I am not suggesting the Pacers tank. I just felt like at 1-10, it's something that needed to be discussed sooner rather than later.
I brought it up last week and y'all laughed at me.
1-10 changes the formula, man.
Anyway, how about those New City jerseys?
Those were nice.
We love them. I don't know why they debut them on the road, but I loved them.
There's a reason they're wearing those City Connects like 25 times because there's going to have to be a reason to put people in seats. And I don't think the team is probably going to be able to do that themselves. And so they have awesome jerseys that people will go by, and everybody will be happy watching the Pacers get beat by 10 a lot this year.
I think that's going to happen a lot. Like I said, they're going to get their guys back. They're going to beat bad teams. But, man, it only took 11 games to really sink my hopes.
I think that, like, I expected the season to be bad anyway. I expected it not to be this bad, but I didn't expect it to be a good season. I think people are just now getting to the point of realizing that it's going to be next year. This season's kind of a throwaway.
Well, if anybody looks at this season and says Tyrese Halliburton is overrated, they need to get reality checked because the absence of him is, just been outrageous in terms of that. You just see the continuity with the offense, their ability to get up the floor, make the right read. Like it's just a completely different team when he's not out there.
And I think everybody can agree with that. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much to our Pacers crew, Mike Rich, John Robertson, and Will Retherford for joining the podcast. Once again, we will start having more Pacers content very soon, particularly as football season wraps up. Thank you so much for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a Pacers fan in your life. Help us spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.